What's up guys, Sal here. So how do you distinguish between a flagship and a budget or mid-range phone? Of course, by their looks. Without the distinctive outer shell, they are just a bunch of boring circuits and chips. The body is what gives the phone its identity. For most of us, we need our phones to make a statement, and its looks play a big part in it. Not only to eyes, but it should feel good enough to hold too. Phone makers go the extra mile and frequently try out new materials to make their product distinct. The days when cell phones were merely tools for calling and texting are decades behind us. Today's phones are powerful pocket-sized computers, doubling as fashion accessories, status symbols, and an expression of one's individuality. This is why tech specs aren't enough for a phone to sell well. To move by the millions, a phone also needs to please the eye. This is especially true for a $1,000 phone. And that's why I feel like Samsung is ripping people off with their smaller Galaxy Note 20 that has a plastic back. Not the Note 20 Ultra, but the smaller Note 20. A $1,000 phone with a plastic build material, making it the first Galaxy Note since 2014 to have a plastic back. Agreed, glass is fragile, but it also distinctly makes the phone feel more premium, more worthy of its exorbitant price tag. Plastic doesn't do that in no way, shape or form. It's the worst thing about the Galaxy Note 20. There's no way Samsung marketing talk can make plastic sound good for a phone that costs $1,000 or in fact more than that after taxes. It's ironic because Samsung pushed us so hard over these years that glass is better and worth more money. It's one thing to use plastic on a cheap phone, but quite another to do it with a flagship. Unfortunately, it doesn't just end there. The phone also has a 1080p display with 60Hz of refresh rate. Again, Samsung pushed people into getting used to the 120Hz of higher refresh rate, and now all of a sudden they go back to a lower one. Trust me, once you use a 120Hz display phone, you just cannot go back to the 60Hz. It just doesn't feel good, feels like the phone is stuttering. What makes it even worse is that a $350 Google Pixel 4a offers a 90Hz refresh rate. So this is an inexcusable backward step for a $1,000 outlay. Not only that, the Note 20 also uses a 2-year-old Gorilla Glass 5 when the Note 20 Ultra uses the latest Gorilla Glass 7. Heck, even last year's Note 10 uses the Gorilla Glass 6. The Note 20 Ultra features an expandable microSD card slot, but you won't get that with the Galaxy Note 20. The ultra-wideband chip for super fast file transfer that also intelligently detects where users are, which is available on the Note 20 Ultra, isn't available on the Note 20. The latency of the S Pen on the Note 20 is 26 milliseconds, which is an improvement compared to last year's Note, but still more than the 9 milliseconds of the Note 20 Ultra. In short, the Galaxy Note 20 is not a $1,000 phone. I usually don't advise people to not buy a certain product, but in this case, I have to. Do not buy the Galaxy Note 20. It isn't worth $1,000. If you want to buy a new phone, get the Note 20 Ultra. If you don't want to spend that kind of money, then get the S20 or even last year's Note 10, which you can find for much cheaper now. But do not buy the Note 20. Samsung is ripping people off with it, and they should be ashamed for that. Do consider subscribing for all the latest smartphone tech news, and as always, I'll see you tomorrow. Peace out.